Hey folks, welcome back to my channel. This is MahfuzVanGogh, your Dredge guy, and today we are back to Turbo Dredge, but this time we are more than Turbo, we are maybe Ultra Turbo because I am playing Lotus Petal just to have faster mana. Well, why is that? Because I am angry, and we have anger in our deck to give haste to all of our zombies. I am angry because this metagame is being harder to navigate compared to all of the previous years since I started playing Legacy. But we are doing our best here on this channel because we are what? Fighters. And I have 2 copies of Ox of Agonas here. We can cast Ox of Agonas even on turn 1, thanks to the great synergy between Lion's Eye Diamond, Faithless Looting, and Burning Inquiry. This is amazing because this card sees Modern play. If you are coming from Modern, you obviously know this card. And I had some tests, previous tests here on this channel last year, playing this card in Legacy Dredge. When you have this card in your deck, you want to be explosive, and you want to maybe wreck your opponent's hands with this card, which I suspect is something really interesting to do these days, because everyone is trying to, especially against me online, everyone is trying to find starting hands with Graveyard Hate, but sometimes no counterspells. But between counterspells and Graveyard Hate, like Fairy Macabre or other stuff that your opponent can have on turn 1, this maybe is a way to be creative and explosive at the same time, and maybe disrupt our opponent's hand by accident. So 2 copies of Lotus Petal. This way we have 20 mana sources, if you consider Lion's Eye Diamond as a mana source, of course. And of course, I include Breakthrough, which is amazing. Not so great to include 4 copies of Breakthrough, because if you have only Breakthrough in your starting hand, it's not the best. Breakthrough usually is as its best combined with other enablers like turn 1 Faithless Looting, turn 2 Breakthrough. But since we have Lotus Petal this time, we can maybe cast Faithless Looting and Breakthrough on turn 1, or maybe Burning Inquiry and Breakthrough. And if we consider Lion's Eye Diamond, maybe we can be lucky enough to even crack a Cephalic Coliseum on turn 1. So let's see. Since I am prioritizing red instead of blue, even if I have Cephalic Coliseum, I have only 1 basic mountain, and this time I have Badlands instead of Underground Sea, because sometimes you need black mana to cast Cabal Therapy on your first turn, or maybe if you really need to cast Stink with Imp or Golgari Thug in the mid game, even Poxwalkers. Reach from Below, not so much. I don't think you want to cast this card, but if you, for some reason, need to cast something black, you have Badlands in your deck. In this build, I am prioritizing speed instead of resilience, so we don't have Otherworldly Gaze, and we don't have the Thassa's Oracle combo. Thassa's Oracle was especially good last year because at some point everyone was playing the One Ring. This is not the case anymore. Everyone is playing Blue-Black Reanimator or combo decks. Faster combo decks than artifact decks. So, of course, sometimes you see an 8-cast here, a burn deck there, green deck sometimes. But this time we are prioritizing speed. So let's see how many turn 1s we can have with this deck. I suspect that I will not sideboard many cards on each game, after each game, but I still have Leyline of the Void for the Mirror, of course, and for Upsal spells mostly. Unmask is good against a plethora of decks if you are suspecting of some weird card, weird graveyard hate technology that your opponent can have, maybe a mix of many cards. Your opponent can have Contending Priest plus Fairy Macabre plus Surgical plus counter spells. Well, Unmask is pretty good. Shenanigans is incredibly good against artifact hate like Gravedigger's Cage. And we have 4 answers to Leyline. And I'm back to Chain of Vapor here because since we are so turbo, we are so fast, we are prioritizing speed, we probably have only 1 turn as our window to cast Chain of Vapor. So we probably, if we cast this card, we'll probably cast it on turn 1. So we don't need to be that much afraid of its bad part, like Chain of Vapor. If you have Leyline and your opponent also has Leyline, you cast Chain of Vapor and both Leylines will get back to players' hands. But that's fine because we are turbo, right? So if we do this at the end of my opponent's turn, we can just probably try to win the game in our own turn. That's pretty much it. Before playing this, I tried to play today. Today's Sunday, Sunday evening, and I tried to play other Satoru Blue Dredge or other stuff that I am working with. But in Magic Online, at least today, everyone was playing Show and Tell and other fast combo decks, and Reanimator, of course. So I believe this is probably good in today's Magic Online metagame. But the metagame is evolving really fast, and what we see in 1 week can be different next week. So we must pay attention. Hopefully, we will do a good result this league. Click the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment below. And if we cannot get a good result tonight, well, at least we tried something different. This is the first time here on the channel that I'm playing Turbo Dredge with 2 Lotus Petal, 2 copies of Lotus Petal and Burning Ink in the same deck. So let's do it right now. Round 1, we are on the play, and this hand is maybe a turn 1 win. This has the potential to be really fast. Let's see. I'll play my Lotus Petal. Oh, it resolved quickly, so let's do it. We need to grab... Let's grab Badlands here. Let's see if this Cabal Therapy will resolve first. Okay, it resolved. So let's name Grave Troll. And now I'll cast Burning Inquiry. We might not have Cephalic Coliseum at the end of this turn. Dredge 6. Dredge 6, we have Ox there. Dredge 6 again, we have Cabal Therapy, Poxwalkers, we need Narco. 1 Narco, okay. And 1 extra Poxwalkers, great. So let's cast our Cabal Therapy. What to name here? My opponent discarded Omniscience, so this is Show and Tell. So Show and Tell is probably our best shot here. Yeah, 2 copies, Cabal Therapy, 1 mana discard 2. And my opponent has Force of Will, but at this point I'm not sure if I care about Force of Will here, because we will just natural Dredge, so let's name Ponder. And now my opponent has 2 counter spells and 2 lands in their hand. Let's see how fast they can recover from this Burning Inquiry. Burning the house down. My opponent had a great start there with Ponder, Stock Up, Omniscience, and Show and Tell. And my opponent conceded. This was just too much. Alright. And my opponent told me here on the chat before I start the game that they almost played one of our lists tonight. So against Show and Tell, I can shave 1 Breakthrough, 1 Poxwalker to include 2 Shenanigans. I believe against this build, Unmask will be better on the play compared to build to include them on the draw, especially because we are fast. I'm not sure because the thing is we have Burning Inquiry now, so this is almost a turn 1. My opponent kept 7. Let's keep it. We are on the draw. There are so many good draws here. Any other Enabler or Dredger will put this hand. Oh, my opponent has a turn 1 Graphic Cage. Well, we have 2 lands. We need a Dredger, our best Dredger, Grave Troll. But we cannot crack a DDE and try to combo here because of Graphic Cage. We must slow Dredge a little bit. I could just discard Grave Troll here, but I think I will probably cast Breakthrough with X equals to 1 next turn. Okay, my opponent has Ancient Tomb, and... oh, my opponent has a fast Show and Tell with Protection. Maybe this is not that bad, and my opponent has just Omniscience without other spells. Omniscience and Emrakul. Okay, it's over. Yeah, what did I say at the intro of this video? Everyone is playing Combo or Reanimator because Combo can win against Reanimator, Reanimator can win against Oops, everyone is afraid of Oops, and, well, and Reanimator is still busted, of course. Now we are on the play. Let's play Unmask. I can maybe slim the Lotus Petal here. We can be fast without them, since we will prioritize Unmask now. And if my opponent has Graph Digger's Cage, we probably cannot try at turn 1. So Unmask will show us. If we have an Unmask in our starting hand, Unmask will help us to evaluate if we can be faster or not. Oh, this would be so good with mana. Let's mulligan. Okay, I will keep it. I will keep it. My opponent also had a mulligan to 6. And see, I'm playing slower than my opponent, but my opponent played 2 games in less than 1 minute. This is legacy these days. If you play combo decks like Oops or Show and Tell, sometimes you have the opportunity to play more leagues in less time. So I think it's a strategy. So let's crack Bloodstained Mire. And I'll grab the Volcanic here because maybe we can draw a blue enable. Okay, great. Okay, we have the win on turn 2 unless my opponent has... I mean, we probably have the win on turn 2 unless my opponent has Graph Digger's Cage again. Oh, just Mystic Sanctuary. My opponent had a mulligan to 5. So we probably good to win this turn. Let's Dredge 6. Narcomoeba, 1 Poxwalkers. We have Dredge Return and Cabal Therapy. 1 Bridge. 8 cards in our graveyard. Let's crack Cephalic Coliseum. Dredge 6 and 6. And 6 again. Great. We have Ox. We don't have Anger yet, but everything is resolving, so I believe we'll just have a turn 2. Narcomoebas, yes, you're welcome. Let's cast Cabal Therapy first, right? We have Poxwalkers, so this is a free therapy. We have Bridge. I feel like I still should name Force of Will here, because my opponent might have a Force of Will this turn. This could be the draw. My opponent is thinking here. So they can have a Force of Will or Force of Negation here. And since I want to cast Dredge Return after this Cabal Therapy, so let's name one of their possible forces. We have other true therapies, so this will be a piece of cake. Force of Will. Alright, my opponent had a Force of Will, and my opponent's hand is incredibly slow. They need mana, and they conceded. Oof. This was incredibly fast, as I was expecting. I want to say thank you to all my patrons that you can see here on this page. Guys, you are awesome, and I can create content because of your continuous support. If you also want to help me as a content creator, please go there, check my Patron page, patreon.com/thedredgeguy. See you there. Round 2, we are on the play. We are paired against 5 centimeters. I think that's it. We don't have a good hand. Let's mulligan. Okay, this is a keep. We have 2 Faithless Looting and 2 lands. We don't have Dredgers yet, so this is not that turbo, but we might draw what we need. Let's cast our first Looting. Oh, it resolved quickly. We can discard 2 cards here, Bridge and Anger. We don't have Dredgers yet, but we can cast our 2 spells next turn. My opponent has Cavern on Eldrazi, and my opponent passed. My opponent kept 7 cards, so they might have something incredibly good. Now we have a Dredger. So let's discard 2 Dredgers. I'll play my Badlands, and with some luck, we'll still have Cephalic Elysium after that. Dredge 6, Dredge 5, Dredge 5 again. Oh, we kept Cephalic Elysium. My opponent had Reality Smasher. So this is aggro Eldrazi. We already have Anger. My opponent conceded. Oh. Fast wins, guys. So if you want to grind on Magic Online and you don't want oops anymore, maybe this is the way to go. Now what? Drawing 3, discarding 3, even at random, but at the cost of 1 single red mana, this is so strong. This is a Legacy power level card. So my opponent probably have Leyline of the Void, because this is what Eldrazi does. We cannot be that fast against Leyline, so let's get Lotus Petal out of our deck. We need to side out 3 more. Anger is probably not that good against Eldrazi, because my opponent has Wasteland, and on the draw, it's not that easy to get Anger on time. It's still a powerful card, but considering that we might need to find answers to Leyline, Anger is less reliable than usual. Let's mulligan this. Let's mulligan that. Okay, this can be a turn 1. My opponent also... No, my opponent kept 7 cards. So, no Leyline. Ancient Tomb pass. Okay, we can have a turn 1 here. Another land, unfortunately. But if my opponent just hold Kozilek's Command in their hand, well, they might have Fairy Macabre instead of Leyline. LED, resolved. Breakthrough. Hold priority. And crack LED in response. 3 red mana. We're not playing all the Orderly Gaze anymore. Dredge 5. Dredge 5. No looting yet. Dredge 6. Oh, looting's dead. Dredge 6. And Dredge Return, we don't have Ox, but this Faithless Looting is maybe getting 2 Ox. Narco and Narco. Narcos came in 2, and my opponent conceded. This was super fast, guys. So the prophecy is ready. Guys, I'm sorry. I stopped a little bit to eat something, and when I came back, I forgot to click the record button when I started to play. So I was talking to myself here. Let me show you what happened on turn 1. My opponent is playing Blue-Black Temple, probably. I resolved EDD and EDD on turn 1, but when I tried to cast Burning Inquiry, my opponent countered with Force of Will, and they grabbed that Surveil land, but they put Nihil Spellbomb in the graveyard. They surveilled Spellbomb to the graveyard, so maybe they need lands instead of Spellbomb. But this is such a good card against us. But maybe my opponent has a second copy in their hand. Polluted Delta, cracks it. Hopefully it's not a Spellbomb, because we have the win in our hand. Okay, Thoughtseize. This Thoughtseize is bad, but since we have a Dredger, we can probably crack Cephalic Elysium and find red spells with our Cephalic Elysium, right? Let's see what we draw. Oh, no, another Breakthrough, even better. This deck is busted. We are playing with the best Turbo Energy tonight. So Breakthrough, resolving, great. Dredge 4, and we couldn't hit other Dredgers, but now we have them. Let's crack Cephalic Elysium first, because then we can hit more Bridges and Therapies to see my opponent's hand before casting Ox. Dredged a bunch. We can use those 2 blue mana to cast the Faithless Looting before casting Ox. So this is so good. This is so good. Faithless Looting first. My opponent can counter it, but I don't think they have a counter. My opponent might have Daze, so I'll name Daze with my first Therapy for sure. 4 Narcos, only 16 cards in our deck. Let's cast Cabal Therapy, sacrificing Poxwalkers. I'm angry, guys. I want fast wins tonight. Let's see what my opponent has in their hand. I will name Daze. Oh, my opponent conceded. Okay, but we know that Kaito, my opponent exiled the Kaito to Force of Will. Kaito plus Spellbomb, this is Blue-Black Temple. So against Temple, Shenanigans might be good because not only Spellbomb, my opponent might have other artifacts. Unmask is tempting. Maybe this time we can include Unmask even on the draw because my opponent is also a Daze deck. I'm not sure. I will include Unmask here, but since we are so fast, we can be so fast with Banyan Inquiry, I'm not sure if we should include Unmask. But let's side out some of our enablers here. Breakthrough is so sketchy against turn 1 Spellbomb, for example. So this is why I sided out 2 copies. This is a mulligan. This is a turn 1. Let's keep it. I will put a Grave Troll there in case my opponent has Surgical Extraction. So now we have 2 different Dredgers. This is a turn 1, but my opponent kept 7 cards, so I don't think we will have really a turn 1. Chances are that my opponent will counter or LED or Banyan Inquiry. They have Tamio. Oh, Tamio will flip if we resolve our Banyan Inquiry. That's important. Oh, and now we have Cephalic Coliseum. Let's try to resolve LED. It resolved. So I can try turn 1 here, but I'll not buy it. I think my opponent has a counter spell and this Banyan Inquiry will be countered. If it's not, we have chances to have a... Yeah, my opponent has a Force Fulfill. We have chances to have a Cephalic Coliseum on turn 2. So my opponent exiled a second copy of Tamio. So no losses there. And now my opponent attacks. Has a Clue token. Oh, Wasteland. This is still good. We can crack Cephalic Coliseum on our turn. Unless my opponent has a... No, just another Netherglyph. Alright. So let's draw something good, another land. We could wait here, but my opponent can cast a Brainstorm and find Spellbomb at any moment. So let's crack Coliseum here immediately. We unfortunately don't have use for those remaining blue mana, but I think that's still fine. Nakomiba. This is a medium Dredge. We have 1 Bridge, 2 Therapies, 1 Poxwalkers. So we can create a couple of zombies and have a 3-1 with Death Touch. But my opponent has only 2 cards in their hand. Let's name Murktide. Just a Ponder, alright. Let's take that Ponder from my opponent's hand. So we have 3 creatures, my opponent has only 2, but they will have some clues to get back from this game, from this situation. They only have Polluted Delta now. We need to find our Dredge Return and an Ox. And we will just Dredge 6 and Dredge 6 again on the next couple of turns. My opponent played that Polluted Delta, attacks with Tamio and Netherglyph. I don't think I will block here. No, let's not block. I feel like we are slightly ahead on this game. My opponent needs to draw cards. They have only 1 unknown card in their hand. Hopefully it's not Orcish Bowmasters. It might be Orc here, but it can be anything. It can be just a Force. Dredge 6, now we have a couple of Therapy. I think our best choice is just attack. So let's attack. Okay? No blockers, no Orcs, and no Fatal Pushes. Let's cast Cabal Therapy, sacrificing our Poxwalkers. We will get 1 extra zombie. I'm not sure what to name here. Force Fulfill. My opponent might have a counterspell in their hand or a land. Hydroblast. Yeah, a counterspell. So we don't care about this card anymore. Hydroblast would be good on the first turn before we discarded our hand. My opponent draws a second card, and they draws a third card. They have 3 cards in their hand. If my opponent cracks a fetch land, we have Lethal on board. Oh, now they will hold Netherglyph as a blocker. So let's think here. Let's Dredge 6. We have Dredge Return, but we only have Grave Troll as an interesting card here, and my opponent might have Bounce Spell, Petty Theft. So I think we'll keep just attacking here instead of destroying 2 zombies for no value. Oh, my opponent. Oh no, my opponent has Orc this time. Yeah, they drew an extra card thanks to Tamio, and Orc was one of them. Now we will lose our bridges. Let's see how my opponent will block. Yeah. So we'll lose our bridges, and we still have 1 Poxwalkers and 1 zombie. My opponent is down to 7 life. We need to find something else to win this game. If we don't, my opponent's Tamio at some point will flip, and it will be harder to win. Maybe next turn I will attack only with Poxwalkers. My opponent plays a land. Only 2 cards in their hand. They attack with only Tamio. My opponent has Hydroblast and something else. And they will draw something extra. 2 unknown cards in my opponent's hand. Let's Dredge 6. This is a point where Hogak would be incredibly good in this build. Maybe we can add 1 Hogak in the next build. I'm playing with Hogaks again in other builds of Dredge. So I can try to reanimate something, but it is not a game-winning scenario. We have only 1 Poxwalkers remaining in our deck. Let's attack with our Poxwalkers here. I don't think my opponent will block. If they block, we can get Poxwalkers immediately back. Oh, they decided to block. No? Yes? Okay, they will block. So now let's cast Cabal Therapy. I think I'll sacrifice my Narcomoeba for no value because my opponent can have Fatal Push or something. So, and zombies have 2 power. So let's name Hydroblast. And Force of Negation. Alright. So my opponent needs more threats here. If they cannot find a way to flip Tamio or more threats, we'll just win the game. They probably can just crack 2 clues to flip Tamio this turn, right? Oh, or they can do that. Even better. With this Tamio flipped, we can deal only 3 damage to my opponents instead of 5. If I try to hit Tamio, Tamio goes down to 1 and it's just a missing turn. My opponent has a fetch land. I think I would... Let's dredge first. Let's dredge 5. Ooh, not good hits. We don't have therapy anymore, but we still have 1 remaining bridge and 1 remaining Poxwalkers. It will be difficult to win this game now, guys. We need to find Narcomoeba. I think I'll attack my opponent here. Yeah. No blocks. Okay, my opponent is down to 4. To 3. We have lethal on board. My opponent needs to draw something. This is a good path to... Okay, my opponent doesn't want Thoughtseize. Tamio goes up. Oh, hers. Okay, my opponent needs something extra than that. If they need another removal spell, Archball Masters, or maybe a bounce spell here to bounce our Poxwalkers or something. Let's dredge. Narcomoeba is there. With Licensed Hearse in play, this feels almost like an old card, right? Because everyone plays Ghost Vacuum these days, but this is so powerful. My opponent can... No? Oh, I thought for a moment that my opponent could exile Narcomoeba and Poxwalkers. So let's attack. We have lethal. This is our chance. After that, if my opponent can get out of this situation, we will probably lose. My opponent has Force of Negation and 1 unknown card in their hand. Do you have an answer? Oh, they have. Archball Masters. Now it will be incredibly hard to get... Yeah, we... Okay, yeah, Tamio's value was overwhelming and we cannot come back from this anymore. If my opponent is smart, they will kill our zombie. Yeah, they killed our zombie and we can concede. Unfortunately, we cannot win this anymore. Almost there. Almost there. Let's come better for game 3. The question is, do I keep Unmask? Because now we have the tools to be faster than our opponent. Unlicensed Hearse is a turn 2 play and they might have Spell Bombs, but Spell Bombs are not the best answer against our deck. I think I want to play on attack today and not on defense. So let's just keep 2 shenanigans and nothing else. So we have 2 Poxwalkers again, 2 breakthroughs again instead of only 1, and we have our petals. And this is a good hand. This is not perfect, but this is good. Because even if we don't find dredgers with our Burning Inquiry, we can even cast Cabal Therapy here, but my opponent is also a Wasteland deck, so I don't think that's wise. Even if we don't find a Dredger here, if we keep at least 1 mana in our hand, let's see if this will resolve or not, we have shenanigans. Okay, my opponent discarded Unlicensed Hearse and Force of Negation. And we discarded our shenanigans and Sync with Imps. So, and we even have LED here. So, great tools to win this game. We have a second Burning Inquiry in our hand, together with Cabal Therapy. So, if my opponent can exile our graveyard with something like Fairy Macabre, we can next turn cast Cabal Therapy and Burning Inquiry at the same turn. Underground Sea, no Thoughtseize, please. Oh, a Thoughtseize. So that's okay, we can still win here. My opponent is thinking here. Okay, they have something in their mind because this should be an easy decision. But they decided to discard Golgari Grave Troll, so they might have something to... Yeah, Fairy Macabre, alright. Okay, as I was saying, now we need to believe in shenanigans. Dredge 1. Okay, we have looting there. We want looting. So... Cabal Therapy, blind Cabal Therapy targeting my opponent here. Let's name what? Daze, Force... Let's name Daze. Oh, Daze and Force. And Archball Masters, okay. Now my opponent cannot force us anymore. And now it's interesting. Do I play Burning Inquiry or do I believe in shenanigans plus looting to find our treasures and maybe win the game this turn? Can we try it? This feels so crazy. Shenanigans is a crazy card, right? You can see this art here. Okay, guys, we are here to do that. Let's try to achieve a turn 2 win. Without a good dredger, only Dredge 1. Let's see. Dredge 1. Dredge 4. And Dredge 6. Shenanigans is amazing. Alright, and we have Ox of Agonas now. My opponent still has Force of Will, Archball Masters, and Polluted Delta. And 1 unknown card. It might be a blue card, but I think we'll just try Ox here, right? Even if we need to exile some cards. We can exile some lands and spells. If this Ox resolves, we win immediately. Now my opponent had a blue pitch to Force of Will. That's okay. We can try again next turn. My opponent has only Archball Masters in their hand and Polluted Delta, so we can try again next turn. Unless my opponent has Wasteland. Anything but Wasteland here. Polluted Delta, alright. Oh, Tamio instead of Archball Masters. I like that. That means we are not afraid of exiling our bridges this turn. So we have 2 Narcos, and Archball Masters cannot enter. We can take Archball Masters with Cabal Therapy, and this Ox will definitely resolve. We need to do some choices here. We need to exile something here. Narcomoeba, Faithless Looting. I don't think we will need shenanigans anymore after this Ox. 3 more. Stink with Imp, Thug, and Thug. We have 2 Grave Trolls, so I think that's fine to dredge a lot this turn. We will dredge at least 12. So dredge 6, 6 again, 2 bridges are great, and 5, great. Life is beautiful. We have another Poxwalkers there, 3 therapies. Yeah, this game is ours, guys. We are winning. We are winning with Ultra Turbo Windy Dredge. Let's name Orcish Bowmasters. And now we can cast our other therapies. I'm not sure if I want to discard all of my cards. Grave Troll is fine, but maybe I keep Stinking Ape in case something incredibly weird happened, like my opponent having a Pyroblast effect, Pyroclasm effect or something. But this is blue-black. My opponent doesn't have a Toxic Deluge effect, I mean. Stink with Imp. Let's discard everything. Because it's only fair, right, guys? My opponent is Hellbent. Now we are Hellbent. This is a fair game. Everyone is Hellbent. Everyone is happy. Just a fair, balanced game. My opponent kept a card on top, so it might be something good. Ponder. My opponent definitely wants to flip Tamio this turn. They shuffled. Because if they flip Tamio... Okay, they conceded the game. Oof. We won, guys. We are 3-0. Let's go to our round 4. Round 4, guys. We are on the play against vinilopes. This is a good hand. This can be a turn 1. Let's skip. It feels so good having lands like this with several enablers, mana, and Lotus Petal. This is the dream of every Dredge guy. At least tonight. My opponent had a mulligan to 6 and then kept. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. It's getting late here. So LED, it resolved Lotus Petal, Cephalic Elysium. I'll cast Faithless Looting with my Lotus Petal. Let's see if this will resolve. If this resolves, we can have a turn 1. Oh, my opponent is thinking a lot here. Are they playing counter spells? Oh yeah, Force of Will. Exiling Lowering Rebuild. Interesting. So this can be a Show and Tell deck or a control deck. Both of them play Brainstorm. I'll say let's cast Faithless Looting immediately here instead of waiting 1 extra turn because I don't want to lose. I want to win. Okay, Dredge 4. Dredge 6. We have 1 therapy. We have 2 zombies after this. So let's try to be smart or let's try to be just on point here. I think Brainstorm is the obvious thing to answer here, because to name, because future therapies will have greater chances to hit, but it can be Show and Tell. Let's name Brainstorm. It is a Show and Tell deck, but with no Show and Tells. I would never name Stock Up or Omniscience, so it's fine. My opponent doesn't have a fast hand, so we might win here just with 3 attacks. They played Polluted Delta and Lotus Petal, and that's it. All right. We will Dredge 6 here. Therapy. No therapies, but 3 Narcos. So now we need only 2 attacks to win. 3, 4, 5, 7. My opponent took 12. Cracking there 11. Not exactly lethal on 2 turns, but almost there. If my opponent finds another fetch land, this can be lethal in 2 turns. And we have blockers for a possible Emrakul. My opponent is down to 12 and 11. Hedge Maze. This is Omni-Tell. They don't want Lotus Petal. Well, Lotus Petal would be stock up, right? But they probably prefer to hit Show and Tell here. Or a land. Okay, my opponent passed without playing mana. Dredge 5. And let's attack. Yeah, my opponent probably should exile something different than Lauren Revealed, considering their hand. But I don't play Show and Tell, so it's hard for me to evaluate. But it seems that their mana wasn't perfect. So let's cast this Cabal Therapy here. We still have Dredge Return. We don't care that much on stock up. I'll just name Omniscience here. Okay, my opponent conceded before that. Okay, another Show and Tell deck. This time, I think I will... We need Shenanigans for sure. Since we are experimenting here, we are doing some experiments here tonight, maybe I... Okay, let's try only Shenanigans first. Part of me is suggesting here inside that I should include Unmask even on the draw. But after sideboarding, this will be incredibly hard to win on the draw. This is a keep. If my Burning Inquiry resolves, we have chances to disrupt our opponent's hand. And if it doesn't resolve, we have a second shot on turn 2. My opponent has basic island and Gravedigger's Cage. Everyone loves that. Everyone but me. Let's draw land, please. We need lands to get rid of Gravedigger's Cage. Draw 3. Is it resolving? Resolved. All right. My opponent discarded 3 lands. We discarded good cards to be discarded, 2 Grave Trolls and 1 Poxwalkers, and now we have lands. So life is good, but we need Shenanigans. Let's see if we disrupted our opponent's lands and now they don't have mana. No, they have. Misty Rainforest, cracking it for a tropical island. Ponder. Sorry, guys. It's late, but I will play this league before going to sleep because I know that tomorrow I probably will not have the time to play, unfortunately. So I want to end this league. Oh, another cage. I want to end this league tonight, before midnight. And now Dredge 6. Okay, I will cast Burning Inquiry or Breakthrough here. Or maybe 2. Or maybe both, I mean. But we need to be lucky to cast both. If we cast both, we can win the game next turn, probably. I mean, in 2 turns from now. I will try to be lucky here, guys. The correct path here is just casting Breakthrough with X equals to 1. But my opponent still has 4 cards in their hand. They didn't shuffle after that Ponder, so I think they have something. Let's Dredge 6. Dredge 6 again, no shenanigans yet. And Dredge 5. Ooh, no shenanigans yet. We have 2. Maybe I should include a third. As we saw in the previous game, shenanigans is amazing. Even when you just need a Dredge 1. Now what? We unfortunately discarded our Breakthrough, but we have Cephalic Elysium for next turn. Brainstorm. We just don't want to see Show and Tell here being resolved. If my opponent wants to cast Stock Up, Brainstorm Ponder, that's fine. Even Impulse. But we need 3 turns to destroy those cages. It feels bad when you don't hit your shenanigans early in the game because sometimes Show and Tell decks also have Surgical Extraction or other ways to disrupt your graveyard. Especially these days, I saw some players using Gravedigger's Cage and Surgical Extraction 2 and 2, and with a third or a second copy of Surgical in the sideboard. So you can cast Cunning Wish, or you can get a sideboard card in the middle of your game. Okay, my opponent is taking a long time here to think, so maybe it's not an easy decision. Okay, they are passing. All right. So Dredge 6. We have 1 shenanigans there, and Anger. We have Anger. Again, my opponent is taking a lot to think here, so maybe they have Surgical Extraction. Oh, Fairy Macabre. Okay, it makes sense. So my opponent is choosing Stink with Imp and Shenanigans. We have another Stink with Imp here in our hand, so let's cast it. It will have haste. We still have another Shenanigans on the bottom 20 cards of our deck, so we still have a chance. Since my opponent has 2 Gravedigger's Cage and now we have Anger, if my opponent has a 2 reactive hand, we can even just start casting in Thugs and Imps, trying to win the game in 4 or 5 turns. Ancient Tomb, especially if my opponent starts tapping Ancient Tomb. Okay, they are holding Force of Will maybe. We'll Dredge 4. The other Shenanigans is there. Let's cast Golgari Thug. With haste. You know what would be good in situations like this? Lacet Prowler. Yeah? Do you remember that from my Modern experience 2 months ago? 2 or 3 months ago? It is a great card and it can beat Gravedigger's Cage. But this is not a green build. If you want to see me playing Lacet Prowler in Legacy, let me know here in the comments below. This might be my next build. Now what? Okay, my opponent stopped to think again. Do they have another fairy? They passed the turn without doing nothing. Okay, let's grab Shenanigans here. Let's try to destroy the first cage. Even if my opponent has Force of Will here, the correct answer is probably just letting this go, so they can counter the next Shenanigans. My opponent is down to 14. Okay, they are tapping Ancient Tomb. Oh, they have Show and Tell. Okay, our Grave Troll will be huge, right? Let's see. Atraxa. Our Grave Troll is a 9/9. Atraxa, let's see what Atraxa is hitting. Several stock... Oh, holy stock ups. All of them. So my opponent will probably keep Veil of Summer, Flooded Strength, Fairy Macabre, Omniscience, stock up. Just casual draw 5. Let's see. Omniscience, stock up, Ancient Tomb and not Flooded Strength, Veil of Summer, and Fairy Macabre. So let's clean this. So with that Fairy Macabre now, it's interesting. My opponent is down to 12. If I hit them with Grave Troll and Stink with Imp, they will go down to 2. Atraxa puts them... Oh, they have Fairy Macabre now, okay. Oh, now we don't have Anger anymore. We are just peaceful citizens. But we can still win this, because we have a 9/9, and my opponent probably don't want to block with Atraxa. They have chances to find whatever they want with stock up. If they tap Ancient Tomb here to... Yeah, they decided not to, and this is smart, because let's just Dredge 4. I'm not sure if I should Dredge anymore. We cannot beat Gravedigger's Cage anymore. But we can at least play Golgari Thug as a 1/1. I don't know. We could draw an Arcomoeba. Oh, we had a Grave Troll on top, so this was better. We have only 1 bridge, but we have Cephalic Elysium here. So if my opponent blocks, I can even crack Cephalic Elysium just to make more zombies. Let's attack with a Grave Troll and Stink with Imp. I don't think we should attack with Thug just to give 7 more points of life to my opponent. Oh, they are tapping Ancient Tomb. What do they have? 3 mana. Oh, Otawara. Oh, that's super smart. And now we probably cannot win anymore. Otawara being more than blue mana. We don't have another Stink with Imp to block Atraxa. We don't have Shenanigans to get rid of Cage. Yeah, let's concede, guys. This was really close, and this was longer than expected against Show and Tell, especially because of the double Gravedigger's Cage scenario. Now we are on the play, so it will be better. And I think I will include Unmask here. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe this way. Guys, if you start to hear music on my background, it's because my neighbors opened their window and I'm hearing some music. I think they are giving a party or a dinner. Something's happening there. Maybe you cannot hear, but it's some funny music, funny songs. Okay, so this is a keep. Am I going to turn 1 here or not? Let's see if this LED will resolve. Okay, guys, my opponent fought for a long time. My opponent kept 7 cards. We have a Cephalic Coliseum here. I will go for a turn 2 because my opponent can have just a turn 2 show and tell, and we can win on turn 2 with this hand. Let's see if they have a counterspell. No? Oh, and Burning Inquiry for the next turn. Okay, even better. My opponent might have Fire Macabre, right? So let's tempt them with just a Golgari Withdrawal plus Narcomoeba. Let's see if they have Fire Macabre here. Because if we went for a turn 1 with that hand, we would lose to Fire Macabre. My opponent is thinking a lot here. They took the bait. And now we can maybe win on turn 2. Let's see. We can have Burning Inquiry, discarding our hand to blue mana, cracking Cephalic Coliseum after that. Oh, Grafdigger's Cage instead. Okay, but we will still cast this Burning Inquiry with 2 lands and LED. So let's play the Mountain, I think, because we can always cast Ox of Agonas and see this Burning Inquiry, drawing 3, discarding 3 at random. Oh, now we have Shenanigans in our hand, and my opponent discarded Brainstorm and Omniscience. We have Sync with Imp there. Almost perfect. To be perfect, we should keep that second LED in our hand. But this is almost perfect. We can win next turn, guys. We have Dredger, we have LED, we have Cephalic Coliseum. We can win next turn. Unless my opponent has Show and Tell, Omniscience, Emrakul here. Or Atraxa. One little detail about our current build here on this video. We are slightly weaker against the resolved Atraxa on the battlefield. Because we cannot win with Thassa's Oracle. We don't have Thassa's Oracle in this build. We are just being more aggressive with Ox, Anger, Attack for Lethal. My opponent declined to use Ponter's ability, so no shuffle. And they played Island and Lotus Petal. They have 4 cards in their hand. They might have the combo next turn. So we'll Dredge here since we have the win in our hand. Another Poxwalker's there. We need to resolve this Shenanigans and then we'll crack Cephalic Coliseum. And then we need Narcomoeba to put some Zombos in play. My opponent is thinking maybe they have something. What do they have? Okay, it resolved. And now we'll just crack Cephalic Coliseum here. I want to find the Anger inside our deck. Dredge 6 now. No Anger yet, but we have Ox of Agonas for next turn and we have 2 Narcos. So that's something. We can Dredge return and maybe find our Anger. Since we have Poxwalkers there. We don't have bridges yet, but we will have 3 creatures. What will I name here? Probably Show and Tell, right? I could name Impulse first, since my opponent has 2 mana available. And we saw Impulse, right? Or I'm mixing opponents here. Oh, my opponent has Veil of Summer. Oh, and you see the power of Shenanigans. Shenanigans is a red card, so my opponent couldn't protect their Grafdigger's Cage. They could protect Grafdigger's Cage from Chain of Vapor. But Shenanigans is red. The power of red. Let's see if this Dredge Return will resolve. My opponent has 4 cards in their hand. If this Dredge Return resolves, we have this. Okay, it seems it's resolving. Is it resolving? Okay, it is. Ox Impression. Dredge, and Dredge 6. Oh, we still don't have Anger. Where is our Anger? Let's create some zombies here. We have 2 bridges and 1 extra Poxwalkers. So we can create lethal damage with our zombies for next turn. But I'm not sure if I should discard everything here in case my opponent resolves the Show and Tell. Yeah, maybe I don't need to... Or maybe I just discard Sync with Imp here. We have 2 therapies yet. Maybe I just discard Sync with Imp here, so if my opponent resolves the Show and Tell, or Golgari Withdrawal will be huge, and we can win the game anyways. Or threaten lethal. So plus 2 mace again. I'll not even do the math here, because I don't think this Withdrawal will be that huge, but I want it to be as big as possible. So Sync with Imp. So it would be a 6-6 or a 7-7 if we put a Golgari Withdrawal in play with a Show and Tell. My opponent draws, it's turn 3. My opponent had a Cage, Fairy Macabre, Veil of Summer, but our Burning Inquiry disrupted my opponent's hand. And Shenanigans took... Oh, just Impulse, guys, we have this. We have this. What can my opponent have here? Well, actually not. If they have Ancient Tomb, Lotus Petal, Show and Tell, Profit, they can at least hold... Okay, my opponent conceded. We are 4-0. We are 4-0, and it's almost midnight. Alright, guys, final round. We are playing for a trophy. We are paired against EmperorOppai, or Opal. Let's keep this hand. We have LED, Lotus Petal. We are on the draw. My opponent has Tamio. So Mishra's Bubble. Is this 8 cast with Tamio? My opponent cracks Mishra's Bubble here. I would like to have another enabler. Oh, LED is good. LED is good. Let's see if my opponent wants to counter my LED. No? So I have another one. What about this one? No? Lotus Petal instead? No. So let's play Volcanic Island and pass. My plan here is just discard everything with my first LED and then finding Ox and Faithless Looting to win next turn. My opponent has Urza's Saga. Now they are attacking with Tamio and drawing a card. Tamio flips. Another bubble. Tamio goes up. Bubble is cracked. Let's proceed with our plan here. We need Faithless Looting or Ox of Agonas. Dredge 6. Faithless Looting and Ox. Okay, we have Poxwalkers there. We don't have Therapy yet. So I believe we should cast Faithless Looting first, right? Because we don't have that many cards to be exiled with Ox. And if my opponent has a counter spell for this, we can try with Ox, doing some choices. But this Faithless Looting resolves, we just win the game right now. Force of Negation exiling Emery. That's not the worst, because Emery would be a great card against us. So let's try to resolve our Ox of Agonas. And hopefully my opponent doesn't have a second force. Dredge, Dredge, Mountain Breach. I prefer to not exile Breach. Let's see. Grave Throw, Grave Throw. Only if I keep a single Grave Throw, but I think it's better to keep both of them. Oh, my opponent has Force of Will now. Exiling another Emery. And now we only have Poxwalkers. My opponent has Urza's Saga. Oh, this is a difficult matchup. And my opponent had 2 forces with 2 Emerys, 2 Blue Peaches, and now MahfuzVanGogh. Tamio goes up again. Now my opponent has Spellbomb, so they can bounce our Poxwalkers and Ponder. And my opponent didn't shuffle. They have another land. They bounced our Poxwalkers. Guys, our only chance here is to hit Breakthrough on top. No, it's Breach. So let's see what my opponent will fetch with Urza's Saga. They have a 3/3. Yeah, they have Soul Guide Lantern in their deck, as expected. Let's concede here, guys. We have no chance against this incredibly good start from my opponent. So I think Unmask is important here, even more than Shenanigans. My opponent had Force of Negation in the main deck. So, but maybe one Shenanigans is good enough. My opponent probably has not only Soul Guides, but also other cards. And sometimes they just start with Soul Guide Lantern, and then we can be lucky, since they also were lucky. We are on the play. Let's not play Unmask on the play. Let's skip Unmask for on the draw, maybe. Oh, this is a turn 1. This is a turn 1 without lands. So not really a turn 1, because we don't have Anger with this hand. But this is a turn 1. Unfortunately, my opponent with a single counter spell will disrupt this. Unless they counter our Breakthrough and then we draw... Let's see what this would be. Let's see if this LED will resolve. My opponent had a mulligan to 6 after all. A Force of Negation, exiling Kappa Cannoneer. So now I have some options here. This Lotus Petal resolved quickly. I will pass my turn here and I will try to draw another enabler or a land. My opponent unfortunately has a turn 1 Urza's Saga, so we must be fast. Land is good, so I'll cast Breakthrough with X equals to 1 here. It's our only chance to win. Burning Inquiry for next turn, great. Playing with Burning Inquiry in your deck is like having a slightly less powerful Breakthrough, but then you have 7 copies of Breakthrough because Burning Inquiry is that good. Okay, my opponent has only a blocker. We don't care that much about this hero token here. So Dredge 6. We need to win this turn before Urza's Saga goes to find... Oh, the hero token will have a free counter because of our spell. Dredge, 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 Narcomoeba. Yeah, 2 Narcos. We have 1 Poxwalker, Cabal Therapy, Breach, Dredge Return. We have Ox. We have... Okay, we have the win. We have the win. Again, thanks to Burning Inquiry. We had Force of Negation in our way. Urza's Saga on turn 1 for our opponent. And we still have the win on turn 3 before Urza's Saga fetches Graveyard Hate. But this is a hard matchup, especially now on the draw. Am I including Unmask against this opponent? Unmask is not good against Urza's Saga, right? So if I want to include Unmask, and then my opponent has nothing besides Urza's Saga on the play, which is pretty strong. So I think we should probably play the same. I could include Ox of Agonas instead of Shenanigans here, because being on the play, it will be too tempting to my opponent to refuse any hand with Urza's Saga. Okay, this is a turn 1. This is a turn 1. Okay, my opponent can have counter spells again. Let's see. They kept 7 cards. I will keep this, because this can be a turn 1 or a turn 2. My opponent has Urza's Saga, and we need to win on turn 1 or turn 2 against the turn 1 Urza's Saga. We have no choice. Mishra's Bubble. Guys, I'm feeling it. I can feel it. This has... Oh, Grave Troll is our best enabler. This can be a trophy. This Faithless Looting, will this Faithless Looting resolve? Even if it don't, we can still win next turn. Okay, my opponent had the Force of Negation, exiling Capital Cannoneer. We need LED, Lotus Petal, or we need that our breakthrough with X equals to 1 finds us an LED. We can win this. It will be hard, but we can. Or maybe I just go for it now. This can be the wrong choice, but I doubt it. And you see, we had just a land on top. So this was probably better than waiting one extra turn. Oh no, my opponent had the Soul Guide Lantern. We don't have a chance anymore. Oh no. Yeah, so the illusion of choice, right? I was trying to decide to choose. It would be better. Okay, we can concede here. Okay, maybe my opponent has only one Soul Guide Lantern in their deck, which I doubt. But let's see. Where's the Saga fetches? So what? A Grafdigger's Cage. Okay. This is a Noble with Emery. So... But let's be real here, guys. We will not win this anymore. My opponent still has 3 cards. We don't have lands. Unfortunately, let's concede. It's too late here. And I could try to win this for the next 10 minutes. But I'm conscious that this will be no bueno. Let's talk about our deck. So guys, what we learned about our little experiment here tonight. Well, the deck is really good, actually. I wasn't expecting so many good results in a row. I believe the whole league took me only 1 hour to record, 1 hour and a little bit, because I stopped to eat. So if you're a Dredge player, you don't want to play Yubs or spells to grind and online gameplay, and you want something different, this is probably for you. This is probably your cup of tea, because this can be really fast compared to decks like Oops or spells that can combo with Pact of Negation in their hand. We cannot do that because our combo kills will always involve LED or discarding your hand to break through. So we compensate our lack of Thoughtseize and Pact of Negation with more enablers than usual. So we are better up against counter spells, so much better. But we cannot hold Pact of Negation, of course, because we need to discard our hand. This is one thing. And as we saw, this deck can deal with Graveyard Hate. We had different pieces of Graveyard Hate this evening here, tonight. And our deck managed to win against Cage, against Fairy Macabre. Yeah, I think the deck is pretty good. Actually, I wasn't expecting to be that good, because we have faster decks than Dredge. But since we have so much synergy here, even our worst hands sometimes are good hands in disguise, because the ability to discard our hand and win the game, even if you don't have anything else on the same turn, just finding whatever you need by natural dredging in a couple of turns. I mean, you know me, I love Dredge, but what can I say? I wrote an article, a free article. It's free for everyone. So even if you are not my official supporter on my Patron, you can read the article that I wrote this last week, a couple of days ago. I'll leave the link here on the description. And on this article, I talk a little bit about the situation of Dredge in today's metagame and what I am expecting to the next metagame that we will have just a few weeks from now with the new Magic the Gathering release. We'll have some sweet cards like Cosmoglyph. Can we play Cosmoglyph in our favorite archetype? Let me know your opinions here in the comments below. As usual, click the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment, and see you soon on our next video. Bye.